Okay, welcome to the podcast, everybody.
Hello.
We want to thank you guys for tuning in every week after week. And if you just would remember this, we are a donor-sponsored 501c3. And if you are considering giving a year-end tax-deductible charitable donation, we would love it if you would consider long-haul marriage.
Say that 10 times fast.
Well,
that was a
kind of
mouthful.
messed up. Consider.
No.
We would love it if you would consider long haul marriage.
Consider.
So, back to the show, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. We have hopefully a little shorter episode, a bonus little episode for you guys. Calling it bonus because it's going to be less than 45 minutes this time. You got your timer set?
I got my timer set. Ready.
It's going to be about parenting and raising kids, and then the delicate balance of trying to protect our kids and raise them and discipline them, correct them, and raise them to be adults. But that kind of fine line of being overprotective and possibly disabling them from developing any resilience. And truly being responsible and becoming or being able to become an adult. But we were in a little pool today. I bet, was it like 100-degree water at World Springs in the Colony, and met a really cool couple. We were with Blake and Adrena, a couple of our board members, and met a really cool couple. And they were talking about, we started talking about buying for Christmas, and when our kids are expecting things, they've got giftful, and I love the way Blake put it. He said it's not like an order, like you're ordering stuff for Christmas. And we've taken the surprise out. They just, here's the list, and we're just checking it off the list. And that got us into talking about just a lot of things parenting. And it was a great conversation. We were just so wishing we were rolling right then. Yeah. Anything about World Springs before we dive into the parenting topic?
Well, if you live around the DFW area, and I think there's one in LA, and they're going to build one in Austin, is what we heard. I've heard about it for a couple of years and have wanted to go. Man, it is amazing. And I will say it was just a good time of refreshment. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah,
it was a great day.
Had a great time.
Had done it in Durango, Colorado. Yeah, we did it in Durango.
Hot tubs, saunas.
Cold, 48 degrees. We went to 104, and then we got in a 170-degree sauna.
And probably 40 or so different pools and tubs around, and they all have they're from different regions of the world, and they have different minerals. I mean, it could all be placebo. It could all just be normal
this
water.
Is scientific.
But it was there.
Come on, babe.
There are. Well, what I'm saying is, they could say that there are all these minerals.
Are you saying we were in poop water?
Yeah,
it wasn't.
But
really
no, I don't think it
water?
was. World Springs, we love you. It has a little sign that says this is the degree of the water, and these are the benefit. These are the minerals, and these are the benefits from those minerals. Should you choose to participate in that one soak, and so you can just hop from one soak, from one to another, and then they've got saunas.
I like the Dead Sea. You can literally float in that one. But from 100 degrees and then 102, 104, there was some that were less than that. And then you could go literally from the 48-degree cold plunge, then step right into the 103 and then walk over to a 150-degree sauna. Great food, great drinks.
Yeah.
It was for our birthday. You and Adrena surprised Blake and I.
Yes, it just took us a few months to get there after your birthday.
We had done it in Durango, Colorado, the natural springs. And I remember, you would think that would be the snow-capped and you're outside with your toboggan, but that's actually the opposite. So when we were in Colorado in the summer, it was so hot. We were having to wear, flip-flops just from pool to pool because it was so hot that day. This was perfect. We left, it was 29 this morning. We left the house, it was 32 degrees.
Bursy.
Got there, it was in the 40s and stuff, but I mean, you're in those hot springs, and it was amazing. It was like literally a perfect day.
Felt great.
Day.
So if you live around here in the DFW area and can get to World Springs, try to find a coupon. We had the BOGO on Black Friday or something, so that was amazing. But yeah, highly recommend. But our very last soak of the day, and then we were about to hit the road, so we wouldn't be stuck in too bad of traffic. But we were having a conversation about parenting, about Christmas, about gifts, and, back and forth. And this young couple joined us, probably young 30s, maybe. I don't know, 35. Anyway, they just started in on our conversation and said, man, we can really relate. And they had like I can't remember what they said,
3 boys,
a 7, and a 9-year-old or something like that. 3 boys, and just said, we don't know. And what was the exact, do you remember her words?
She just said it's so hard, and we don't know what we're doing,
she said,
or we're trying.
I need help parenting my 3 boys, or something like that.
And we were like, we just started talking, and actually, as they both shared, great, just very insightful, really, really smart, but as we all shared, I mean, nobody's got it figured out. We all do the best we can. They were so intuitive, and we're on the right track. But just you question, when you get in the side eye from these other adults, your peers, other parents in your life, it's hard to kind of stick to your guns on things that you feel deep inside that you think you should be doing with your kids. But again, that kind of societal pressure that we get put on us is tough. So I love their intuition. We were trying to validate kind of where they were coming from, because they are on the right track and they're doing a lot of things well. The things that they felt deeply inside, I'm like, man, if you just trust that and let that guide you, that'll serve you well. We talked about some good resources from John Eldridge's Wild at Heart. We talked about some of my favorite theologians, today. We got into our parenting book, the you can find it on Amazon. What I ended up, writing was called the
Confessions.
It's going to be like top 10 parenting tips, but it became, as I wrote it, the Confessions of a Horrible Parent: The Art of Making Your Mistakes Matter. We talked about that. It was just a great conversation. So talk about, Blake and Adrena were talking about how hard it is. And again, Blake brought up the whole, it's not an order. So when your kids are wanting stuff for Christmas, just the pressure we feel around Christmas time with the whole gift thing. Yeah. And, so talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of different pressures that I think people feel. One is the financial pressure. There's a lot of extra money going out this month than, normal. And then the time pressure. You feel squeezed in a lot of areas. So financially, with your calendar, with your time, with your energy, a lot of things to remember. If you've got young ones in school, like, oh, they've got this party. Oh, we're supposed to bring this. Oh, they're supposed to dress up like this. Oh, this is a half day. Oh, there's so many things. Oh, they're supposed to bring a book to exchange, or, I have my ornament exchange with my Bunko girls this month, and I need to go get an ornament. Like, your brain is just always on overload with everything. I've got to make a dish. What can I make that's going to be, the best?
And you're so wired to be thinking about all of that stuff that you just brought up. How do you handle that? And I want to get back to make sure we don't forget to talk about like the financial pressure around this time.
Yes, we'll come back to that.
And we were talking about how that can cause obviously strife between a husband and a wife. But even if you're in agreement, like you've set a budget, or that, we're over commercialized this thing, and, we're not doing presents this year. We're going to make it about, the reason for the season. It's about Jesus, not about Santa. But so even if you're in agreement, you don't want to go overboard. It's just hard. You can get swept away.
Yeah, because as a parent, you want to see that kid just smile and be so excited on Christmas morning. And you remember maybe two things. One is you remember that radio flyer, wagon that you got, or some kind of bike, or some kind of easy bake oven.
I remember the Hot Wheels tracks that were like all around our living room.
Yep.
This was, and it was before I was 10 years old, because I think it was probably 7 or 8, because I remember when we moved from that Valwood Lane house over there in Farmers Branch to the Brincrest house. But then my favorite, 3rd grade, I got the Spider 5. It was a little 5-speed.
Oh, nice.
And I remember the gear. It was an orange bike with a black banana seat, and it had that little gear shift in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was, my
so
God.
you have your
I literally can see that.
Yeah.
I can that
and
shiny
you want
bike.
to give your kids that same feeling. So there's either that, or you had a rough go of it growing up, and you remember not having anything under the tree, or seeing your friends get this or that, and you got what the bird left on the pump handle. You're like, what is, why did I get left out of Christmas?
Especially when you've had a kind of a fragmented or a awful kind of experience growing up with your family, right? And you're trying to make new memories, right? Start new traditions, as we've talked about in the past.
Yeah. So I think there's a happy medium. I mean, I guess, I don't know. I'm literally guessing at that. I think there is a happy medium between, man, this is a fun time of year to, be able to surprise your kids with this or that, and not go crazy overboard. Okay, well, so Jamie, what does that mean? I don't know what that means, but I think you can figure out what that means if you really take a breath, regulate yourself. Don't go just, I need to do this and this and this. And you can kind of get your adrenaline going. And before you know it, you're like, wow, I really did go overboard. If you really are thoughtful about it, and you do try to have conversations with your kids that will be meaningful and important about, this is an exciting time of year, and it is really fun to think about things that you are on your wish list or that you want to ask Santa for, but also it's talking about giving, and so always finding other people to give to during not just this time of year, but all the time, building that kind of heart, cultivating that kind of heart in your home. Let your kids see that that's really important to you. It's not always just get.
I went out one day this last week and was motivated by just picturing what I was doing that was in preparation for a gift that's coming up, 2 gifts that's coming up this Christmas. And the point is, I was motivated by joy. I was inspired by it. And so the crowd, the traffic, it was like the benefit, the joy that I was thinking about outweighed that. And so if the one thing to pay attention to is when you're getting online to buy that gift, is it are you resenting it, or are you filled with joy in that moment? Are you thinking, man, what's motivating you? Are you afraid that somebody's got a gun to your head and I've got to do this or else? Or is it something that, no, I cannot wait to do this? That's one thing to pay attention to.
Yeah.
If you're, running around and you're all PO'd because, there's traffic and it's crazy and look at all these insane freaks out here this time of year. Or is it, man, I'll move heaven and earth to do this because I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I think this year we had talked about the call to kind of going back to love gifts, things that really are meaningful for the people in your life because you've paid attention. I think we talked about that maybe last week, and not just ticking off the old giftful list. Which anyway, so that led us. One of the things is, like I said, paying attention to kind of your stress level and what you're feeling. So because you are such a gift giver and a helper, that too, what do? You said check in, make sure you're regulated. What are some things you do this time of year to make sure you're doing that?
So I do try to keep as much of a routine as possible. So even though, you could just go, well, from here till January 5th, my, time is going to be just all spent. It's, no time thinking about myself and centering down and being quiet or being out in nature. I won't work out. I'm going to eat like crap. Like you could say that like, well, it's just all going to go to hell in a handbasket, and it does until, 1st of January or whatever. Or you can say, no, I have a choice. Yes, my time things may be busier. There may be more money going out than normal. There may be more of me that needs to be, more energy on my part. But if I can remain calm and centered and joy-filled and purposeful and intentional, I can change the atmosphere within me and the atmosphere around me, and then really help to bring and cultivate that in your home. That it's not just a crazy, yes, it's a flurry of fun and full activity, but it doesn't have to be where you're just, by the end, you feel like you've just been in a hurricane and you look up and you're like, wow, I did a lot of stuff, but not much was very meaningful. So I think if you right now make that choice, and you really, I think with just some planning and preparation, which does take some time on the front end to sit down right now and say, how do I want my mornings to look? How do I want my days to look? What's coming ahead? What are some things that, like, maybe some things that we need to say yes to, some things that we need to say no to. Let's look at our calendar. Let me get a list going. Like for me, just if I know that I've got stuff scheduled or written down somewhere where I've got a plan for it, I can sleep in peace at night. I'm like, oh, that's right. We've got to do this, but we already put that on our calendar that this is when we're going to take care of that. Like I don't lay awake at night going, oh gosh, am I going to remember all this? Because I've spent time on the front end planning and kind of being quiet and still. And honestly, for me, just really praying about it. Like, God, would you help me feel centered? I find myself, even if I'm going into a store, I mean, I do some online shopping too. So in my mind, I'm picturing I'm going into a store, but whether it's online or going into a store, just saying, and I know this sounds maybe a little bit like wackadoodle, but God, would you help lead me? Would you help me find like a really good gift for this person?
Yeah.
And like keep them in my heart and help me to just be picturing them and what might be perfect for them. Don't let me just be willy-nilly trying to just grab this or that. That's, you spend all this money and you're like, that's not even what I really would have. If I was really being intentional and being in my body in a regulated way, I wouldn't have just bought a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
And so really, I think when you pray about it, all that is stopping long enough to invite God into that moment. He's there, but invite him in and say, will you help me? Will you just help calm my heart rate? Help me just be purposeful and, find something that might be a great gift for whoever. Or as I'm looking at my calendar, would you help guide what we need to say yes to and what we need to say no to? So anyway, that's helpful for me just to stop and continue to do that all through the month.
We talked about the pressure that people feel, and the question for me can become, and I ask people a lot, like, where is the pressure coming from? So we talked about societal pressures and but this young mom today, bless her heart, she said, I just feel like I compare myself to the moms I see out there, on Instagram, on social media.
Gosh,
and I feel like I'm just failing. They just again, it's these curated versions of Supermom, right? And they're putting all this, and and again, Blake jumped in and said it doesn't exist. Like that's just not true. And But paying attention, I said, not only like your motivation, but when you're feeling like I've got to do this or else, like they will judge me. Like, is it social media? Is it the people that you've compared yourself to? Who is they? Who is it that you're feeling like, what are they going to think if I don't host the party, if I don't go to a party, if I don't decorate my house, if I don't have the right tree, if I don't decorate the outside of the house, if I don't get the right gifts? Who is it that you're trying to perform for?
And
like,
so
is it some? Yeah, go ahead.
I remember even now sometimes, but I think about my kids even, and when they were younger, like not other moms, like, oh, what will they think if I don't do this? But like, what if we don't give our kids a gift that they like, and will they be disappointed?
Yeah.
Like they're going to be judging us or something like that.
There is the pressure that your kids are going to think you're losers, like, and compare you to the other parents that got their kids. But again, but that's good to think through. Are you, keeping up with the Joneses? Are you comparing yourself to, because at the end of the day, your kids, if they know you love them and you're showing it that, showing them that throughout the year, it's not about one day. And so yeah, there's a lot to that. I think if you can figure out who sometimes it's the parent in your ear. It's the mom or dad that maybe has told you you're not enough throughout your life. And maybe you're trying to still strive to prove them that you are a good parent. You're going to be a good Santa Claus this year. And maybe they're not even alive anymore. It's just so interesting. Is it the mom group at school? Is it your coworkers? Are you thinking, wow, we're going to have the show and tell, or my kids are going to be blasting their pictures out on social media? Are they going to feel embarrassed by, that whole deal. But we're all thinking about all that stuff. But I think if you can just pay attention to who that primary judge is, who are you performing for? And I love it when you said, man, it was our kids. If you're just purely thinking about your kids and what's going to bring them joy, then I think, that's pretty a good place to start. Just kind of simple, dumb it down.
This is all year round. This isn't just Christmas, but other things like when your kid says, well, everybody else has a phone, and you're like, but that's not, first of all, you need to have that conversation as the parents first. What do we want to do about a phone or about a computer or about a car or, a million other things? So decide together what you're going to, how you want to handle that. And then it's going to be some conversations, and sometimes hard conversations with your kids, because as, Blake and Adrena shared today, it could be their kids saying, we're the only ones. Like everyone else has this, that, or the other, everybody else has Instagram, or everybody else has a phone, or there's always, your kids are going to try to kind of lure you in and kind of bait you to have that conversation
and make us to take a stand as a parent, and not be like the other parents.
It's hard. It's hard. And you and I, we were just on the cusp of all that. As our kids were growing up. Now it's so much more.
God bless everybody trying to thread that needle. Which led us into talking about when I talk about the side eye from other parents, just this judgment and feeling like parents are aghast at the decisions you make, and like, oh my gosh, why are you doing that, or how could you do that? And when you're allowing a little bit more flexibility, leniency, letting your kids do more exploration and taking risks, and maybe even getting in some dangerous situations, rather than this, we've swung the pendulum to this overprotection, and we talk about enabling or disabling our children from becoming adults, and that conversation was really cool because, again, this young couple, they're doing they intuited a lot of things correctly, but they feel like sometimes they're getting the backlash, like you said, from the kids, but from the other parents. And so I wanted I brought up a book that I had just read, and I said, if it were just for this one chapter, it would be worth the entire book. And literally the chapter is called Childhood. But it's written, it's called A Hunter-Gatherer's Guide to the 21st Century. It's by Heather Heying and Bret Weinstein. And these guys are evolutionary biologists. They're two of the smartest people I've ever listened to on, they have a Dark Horse podcast, but they've been invited to address the U.S. Congress, Department of Justice, Department of Education. They both earned PhDs in biology from University of Michigan. And they have been visiting fellows at Princeton University. Before that, they were professors at Evergreen State College for 15 years. So anyway, their work, they have science to back up all the things that they're saying. And we started talking about this, and I did my best to just share a couple of the nuggets. But I love it when I'm listening to podcasts and they'll bring up a video and show clips of other podcasts or quotes from somebody and maybe even read a snip. I want to read, so this is really, really good stuff. So I want to read just a few paragraphs from this book because it was so. And I'm hoping this couple's actually listening to this podcast that we met today.
Let's just say, hey to Heather and Angelo.
There it is. Hey, Heather and Angelo. So
yes,
this is for you out of this book. And so, this is in chapter 9, childhood of this hunter-gatherer's guide to the 21st century. But listen to this, spending time. And so this is maybe a little departure from the whole Christmas and the giftful, and we're not ordering things and what we were just talking about. But man, this is so hard these days because I feel like, he states it very well. I can't improve on it. So let me just read it. Spending time as children allows them to learn about their environment. Therefore, stealing childhood from the young by organizing and scheduling their play for them, by keeping them from risk and exploration, by controlling and sedating them with screens and algorithms and legal drugs, practically guarantees that they will arrive at the age of adulthood without being capable of actually being adults. All of these actions, almost always well-intentioned, prevent the human software from refining our crude and rudimentary hardware. And then he goes on to say, they go on to say, this is actually Bret. They talk about Bret and Heather. They'll specify who's saying what. Children learn through observation and experience. While various cultures, including ours, focus increasingly on direct instruction, which becomes formalized as school, cultures from the Navajo to the Inuit avoid teaching when at all possible, which sounds so counterintuitive. Children learn from their parents, from their siblings, from their extended family and friend groups. Siblings have historically been particularly corrective forces, as they tend to be brutally honest and sometimes just brutal when their brother or sister does something poorly or has an error in judgment. The ways that children enforce their own views of appropriate behavior on other children may look mean to adults, but when children are actually allowed to roam freely in groups and engage in long periods of unstructured play, the bullies and jerks are more likely to lose power than gain it. And everyone learns how to both create and follow rules that work. Across cultures in which play has been observed, even very young children who are allowed to engage in open-ended play in potentially dangerous areas with no adult supervision tend to resolve disputes quickly among themselves and rarely have accidents. Man, compare this to a modern recess at school. All play is supervised. Children are often restricted from playing or creating games that limit who or how many people can play because that would be, scare quotes, exclusionary. And any disagreement between children is immediately arbitrated by an adult. Children growing up restricted to environments like this will not be capable adults. Sorry. It is a fine needle to thread, giving children enough space to make their own decisions and mistakes and protecting them from real danger. Okay, fair enough, right? Our societal pendulum has swung too far to one side to protecting children against all risk and harm, such that many who come of age under this paradigm feel that everything is a threat, that they need safe spaces, that words are violence. By comparison, children with exposure to diverse experiences, physical, psychological, and intellectual, learn what is possible and become more expansive. It is imperative that children experience discomfort in each of these realms, physical, psychological, and intellectual. Absent that, they end up full grown, but confused about what harm actually is. They end up children in the bodies of adults. And I could go on, but that's, y'all, that teases out this chapter. This is what we're living in. And if nothing else, again, hey, and to Heather and Angelo,
Yes.
you guys are doing it well. You're on the right track. Let your boys be boys. Get them that wild at heart. You guys read that.
Something that you shared with me from that book as well, but you said there's a part in there where Bret says, sometimes we are just on overload with information, which is funny and ironic because you got that from a book.
Right.
But they said sometimes you just, with all the books we have access to about parenting, like, and not even just books. I mean, online, like, just who are we, all of our influencers, all the people we follow to just get more knowledge to teach us how to be better parents. Yeah. And all that seems good and right. And there is a part of it, like it is a balance, but I think we get so caught up in, I need to know more. I need to know more. Who can I learn from? Who can I listen to? That you forget God put everything in you that you need to know as a parent. And we have lost so much. So we just lost touch with that intuition. And so I compared it today to me living on my Apple Maps. I mean, I'll Apple Map a place that I've been a million times just to kind of see if it takes me a different route. Or if I get busy and I'm talking and I'm like, oh, I forgot where I was going. You miss paying attention because you're just living on your maps instead of just going, oh no, I know the way to get to where I'm going. I've done this before, or I can kind of sense my, feel my way there. That's how it is with parenting. If you really pay attention more to your kid, more to listening, spending time with them, really being curious and interested in them and their little hearts and their little brains that are developing, you're going to figure it out with them, and maybe just use the books and the podcasts and all that as just a resource, just kind of a backup, but really trust your gut, trust your intuition.
And when you have information overload, you've got the information. So somebody can describe something to you, but until you go do it, you don't learn it. So you have to go experience it. And I love what Angelo, he made the point of, there's this pothole and you're wanting to, your kid's running in the street and you're hoping they avoid the pothole. So you want to go, create the bridge or help them over it, but they need to fall in the pothole. And then they learn, I'm not going to do that anymore. They develop resilience. They learn. And what we do, we see a kid struggling. And so then, oh, bless their heart, they're struggling. So we go and help them. We help them up that to grab the next handhold, right? Instead of letting them figure out how to move their legs and grab that next handhold. Then they figured it out. And what if they fall? Okay, they fell. Then that didn't work. They try again. Yeah. But when we overfunction, and we think, again, well-intentioned, God bless our little hearts, we're trying. And we think that, we intuit that would be the best thing. I'm going to go, take their lunch to them when they forgot it, instead of letting them go hungry that day. Whatever. Again, and we want them to avoid, again, like he said, real danger. But so many times like he said, we've swung the pendulum so far. He said the deal is, and I just picture Max, just walking up our stairs or something. So yes, I mean, don't pick him up, don't carry him, don't tell him, don't get on the stairs. Just walk beside him. Make sure he's holding the rungs on the stairs, whatever. But you say, hey, Max, I'm here. I mean, A, I love you. You're a great kid. I'm always here, and I've got your back. When kids know that, they will feel safe to go explore. Yeah. They'll risk. They'll take adventure. When they see that you're anxious and nervous, they'll be anxious and nervous, and their world will shrink and not expand. That's good. And so this is hard stuff to live out, but trust your gut as the parent. And allow them to get dirty, go, like you said, rub some dirt on it and go on. Move on. And hear me, even there will be some hate in this. Are there these stories? Somebody's going to, well, yeah, and here's what happened to me. But in general, what is that? The problem is we're missing the mark. We have swung that pendulum too far. So be bold, parents. Don't let the side eyes of the old culture get you. Parent on purpose, be intentional, know your own kids, and go for it. Let them have fun. Let them play. Let them explore. we talked about there was something that just, if you were Gen Xer, we could ride our bikes and be home before dark and go out. And yes, we live in a different world. But man, being on our screens and not allowing them to go out and play outside and to be with their friends. Yeah, and I get it. I know it's a different world. But man, if we think the answer is just putting them on a device and sedating them, like you said, and letting the algorithms sweep them away, we're sunk.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's what we're doing, and that's why anxiety and suicide and depression. It's the most mentally unwell generation that we've raised in a long, long time.
Yeah.
So,
and I feel like this is the perfect time because we're talking to a lot of parents right now of little kids who are, just about out of school for the holidays. They'll be home for a few weeks and let them be bored. I remember those days. I'm bored. I'm like, oh, I'll give you, whatever. I'll show you what bored is or whatever. I'll give you something to do so you won't be bored. But it is a time that they can make up, their own fun. You don't have to plan everything for them. But also do some fun stuff, with your kids. I always, when we had a little break, whether it be summertime or Christmas or whatever, I really enjoyed sitting down with my kids on the front end going, okay, this is how many days we have off. What are some things, or is there anything that we want to plan? And just let them kind of dream we want to go look at Christmas lights and get hot chocolate like we've done before. Or we want to, go caroling or whatever. Let them kind of plan what they want to do, and then also just let them know too they're going to have a lot of time to just play, just be kids, and you don't have to over plan and overdo things for them. Kids just want to be kids and to know they're loved and to know that you're present right there with them. So anyway, enjoy those kids.
That's good stuff
over the holidays.
That's good stuff. And thanks for the inspiration from Heather and Angelo today.
Yeah,
thanks Blake and Adrena. You're doing it well. Y'all are some great parents. And thanks for being with us today, everybody.
Yeah.
And be looking for our mystery guest next week. Got special guests coming up.
Yeah.
And
lessons from the hot tub today.
There you go. Lessons from the hot tub.
That's good.